In an increasingly hectic and demanding world, where the daily routine is marked by endless commitments, pressures, and responsibilities, it is natural that many of us feel overwhelmed. Stress, anxiety, and emotional pressure have become constant companions in our lives, often making it difficult to seek a genuine sense of inner peace. Often, we find ourselves in a cycle of worries that consumes us, but we forget to look inward and realize that, amid all of this, the key to transforming our mental health may be simpler and more accessible than we imagine: spirituality. Spirituality, in whatever form it manifests, religious or not, plays a fundamental role in mental health and emotional well-being. When we talk about mental health, many of us tend to associate it only with factors such as therapy or medication. While these approaches are essential and effective for many, spirituality offers a powerful and profound alternative. By connecting with something greater, whether through religious practices, meditation, mindfulness, or even simply appreciating nature, we can begin to restore emotional balance and find true inner peace. If you have ever felt lost, distressed, or directionless, you have probably experienced the feeling that life is moving too fast and you are being left behind. Perhaps you have felt incapable of dealing with emotions or even with daily stress. This kind of feeling can be overwhelming, but there is something deep and transformative that happens when we seek a spiritual connection to deal with these challenges. Spirituality teaches us that there is something more, something beyond the limitations and difficulties of everyday life, and this understanding can be liberating. It is not necessary to follow a traditional religion to benefit from spirituality. Often, people believe that spirituality is intrinsically tied to organized religion, but this is not true. Spirituality is something personal and unique, which can manifest in countless ways, whether through meditation, introspection, faith, or even the simple act of connecting with the universe or nature. The true essence of spirituality lies in self-awareness and the search for a deeper connection with what is important to each of us. For example, imagine you have just gone through a particularly stressful day at work. The demands were intense, responsibilities piled up, and by the end of the day, you feel completely exhausted, both mentally and emotionally. In that moment, you can choose various ways to cope with this emotional load. Some people may turn to food or substances to alleviate the tension, but this only provides a temporary and often harmful solution. Others may seek to disconnect from their worries through physical activity or leisure. However, one of the most effective practices, which has been widely recognized for its contribution to mental health, is meditation. Meditation is not just a technique for relaxation, but a powerful spiritual practice. When you close your eyes and dedicate a few minutes of your day to meditation, you are creating a space of silence and peace amidst the chaos. During meditation, the mind calms down, the body relaxes, and you begin to connect with a sense of presence. Scientific studies confirm that meditation can significantly reduce stress and anxiety levels, improve focus, and even alleviate symptoms of depression. Additionally, it activates the parasympathetic nervous system, responsible for the feeling of calm and relaxation. This is just one example of how spirituality can be incorporated into our daily lives in a practical and accessible way. Meditation, mindfulness, and even moments of prayer are ways for us to tune into our essence, to find a space of inner peace that is often lacking. By focusing on the present moment, without worrying about the future or ruminating on the past, we create a mental state of emotional balance, where peace and serenity become possible. But spirituality goes beyond the simple practice of meditation. It also involves the practice of gratitude, forgiveness, and resilience, fundamental concepts for an emotionally balanced life. When we cultivate gratitude, we are training our minds to focus on the good things in life, even when everything seems to be falling apart. The daily practice of gratitude helps us recognize the blessings we receive, even in the most challenging situations. This changes the way we see the world, reducing the negative impact of stress and adversity. Gratitude is, in fact, a powerful antidote to anxiety and depression. Resilience, in turn, is another essential quality for facing the emotional difficulties of life. Spirituality teaches us that obstacles are part of the journey, and it is through them that we grow. By developing the ability to adapt and overcome challenges, we begin to realize that, despite the difficulties, there is always a way to move forward. Resilience gives us the strength we need to keep going, even when the path seems hard. In times of crisis or suffering, faith also plays a crucial role. Faith can be an inexhaustible source of strength and hope, allowing us to trust that, no matter what happens, everything has a purpose. This does not mean that life will always be easy or that difficulties will magically disappear, but that, with faith, we can find the courage to face whatever comes our way. For many people, the simple act of praying can be transformative. Prayer is not just a request for help, but also a way to establish a deep connection with something greater. When we pray, we open ourselves to the possibility of receiving guidance, comfort, and strength. Prayer reminds us that we are not alone, and this sense of spiritual connection can be extremely comforting in times of distress. Furthermore, spirituality helps us find our life purpose. Amid the hustle and bustle of daily life, we often lose sight of what truly matters to us. We forget our passions, our deepest desires, and what makes us feel alive. Spiritual connection can help us rediscover that purpose, offering clarity and direction amid the turmoil of emotions and daily decisions. When we find a purpose, life gains meaning, and this greatly contributes to our emotional well-being. But as much as spirituality has this transformative power, it also requires consistent practice. Spiritual self-care, just like physical and emotional self-care, needs to be cultivated over time. It is necessary to set aside moments for meditation, reflection, and the cultivation of a state of gratitude and inner peace. When we neglect this aspect of our life, the mind and body begin to suffer. Stress, anxiety, and depression take over again, and emotional balance is lost. Therefore, spirituality is not a quick or temporary solution. It is a daily practice, a commitment to taking care of oneself and connecting with what is deepest within us. It is not necessary to follow a set of rigid rules or adopt a specific religious approach, but to open ourselves to what resonates with our hearts. If you feel that spirituality can be a powerful tool in your journey of self-awareness and emotional transformation, start today. Take the first step, whether through a silent prayer, a meditation practice, or a moment of reflection by the lake, under the starry sky. Spirituality is within your reach, and by cultivating it, you can experience a true transformation in your mental health. By connecting with your essence, your faith, your purpose, you will find the tools you need to face stress, anxiety, and depression. More than that, you will find a path to inner peace and emotional balance, which are essential for a full and healthy life. This is just the beginning. As you explore this path, you will realize that by connecting with something greater, you are also connecting with your true essence. And it is from this deep connection that true emotional healing and mental health transformation emerge. After exploring the initial benefits of spirituality on our mental health, it is important to reflect on how this practice can be consistently incorporated into our daily routines. In such a fast-paced world, where obligations and responsibilities constantly pressure us, the idea of setting aside time for spiritual self-care may seem challenging. However, it is precisely this constant practice that offers us the opportunity to establish the emotional balance we are seeking. Spiritual self-care is one of the deepest forms of care for our mental health. When we talk about taking care of ourselves, we often think of physical activities or healthy eating, but what happens to our mind and spirit? It is vital that we care for all aspects of our being, and spirituality is the key to restoring and balancing our emotions, especially in moments of stress, anxiety, and even depression. Spiritual practices, such as meditation, mindfulness, and even prayer, are not just rituals or traditions, but powerful tools to create a solid foundation for our mental health. The practice of meditation, for example, offers a conscious pause in the frantic pace of life. It allows us to disconnect from the constant external pressure and connect with our inner selves. In a study published by the American Psychological Association, it was proven that meditation reduces stress and increases emotional resilience. By dedicating just a few minutes of our day to focusing on our breath and mind, we create space for calm and clarity. But for meditation and other spiritual practices to be truly effective, they need to be practiced consistently. It is not a one-time solution for a tough day, but a commitment to the daily care of our mental health. By meditating regularly, our mind becomes more capable of dealing with life's challenges. Stress and anxiety begin to be processed more efficiently, and our worldview becomes calmer and more balanced. Furthermore, practices like mindfulness help us stay present in the moment, focusing on now without getting lost in thoughts that cause us distress or fear of the future. This is a great advantage when dealing with intense emotions or daily difficulties. Being present allows us to see situations more clearly, without our mind being invaded by negative or excessive thoughts. Instead of being dominated by anxiety, we can observe our feelings in a more peaceful and rational way. However, spirituality is not just about solitary practices of meditation or prayer. It is also deeply connected to our relationship with others and the way we interact with the world. Practices like empathy, forgiveness, and gratitude, for example, are spiritual aspects that have a significant impact on our mental health. When we practice forgiveness, both for ourselves and others, we are releasing heavy emotions that weigh us down. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting or accepting harmful behavior, but rather letting go of the emotional burden these experiences bring. By forgiving, we release emotional wounds that often become sources of stress and mental suffering. Gratitude is also a powerful spiritual resource. In a study conducted by the University of California, it was shown that regular practice of gratitude is directly related to improvements in mental and emotional health. By focusing on the things we are grateful for, we shift our focus from scarcity to abundance. This changes our perception of life, making us feel happier and more satisfied with what we have, regardless of the difficulties we face. Gratitude allows us to face adversity with more ease, knowing that, even in tough times, there is always something to be grateful for. In parallel, the practice of faith, whether religious or not, can also be a fundamental cornerstone for mental health. Faith gives us a sense of purpose, a path to follow when we feel lost. It reminds us that, despite challenges, there is always something greater guiding and sustaining us. Faith gives us the courage to face the unknown, to take steps toward emotional healing, even when the road seems uncertain. When we believe we are being guided by something greater, we develop an emotional resilience that strengthens us. It is not uncommon for people facing stress, anxiety, or depression to find in spirituality a way to face these challenges. Faith offers comfort in times of pain, relief in times of anguish, and above all, the ability to see beyond the emotional storm. It is not a promise of a life without difficulties, but the certainty that, with spirituality, we can find the strength to overcome whatever life presents. Another important aspect of spirituality in mental health care is connection with nature. For many, nature is a direct expression of the divine, a way of feeling the presence of what is sacred in the world. Spending time outdoors, in contact with nature, is a spiritual practice that has a profound impact on our mental health. The sense of calm we feel when walking in a forest or observing the sea is the result of a connection with something greater that transcends the human experience. Nature has an innate healing power, and spending time in it allows us to restore our emotional and mental energy. It is important to remember that spiritual self-care is not something that should only be done when we are feeling unwell or overwhelmed. True transformation occurs when we incorporate these practices into our daily lives, creating a routine that is both of care and prevention. The practice of meditation, prayer, gratitude, and connection with nature should be something that becomes an integral part of who we are, as part of our constant search for emotional balance. As we seek to develop a deeper connection with our inner selves and the world around us, we are building a solid foundation for our mental health. Spiritual self-care gives us the tools to better cope with stress, anxiety, and depression, and prepares us to face life's challenges with resilience and peace. When we are able to find this balance, life begins to feel lighter, more purposeful, and richer in positive experiences. At this point in the journey, you may already begin to notice that spirituality is not just an answer to life's momentary problems, but a way of living more fully and consciously. Spirituality teaches us to live in the now, to care for our mind and spirit, and to cultivate emotional health that does not depend solely on external circumstances. It gives us inner peace and emotional strength to move forward, no matter what life brings. Therefore, spirituality presents itself as a powerful tool for self-care, for building emotional balance, and for transforming mental health. By incorporating it into our lives, we can not only face daily challenges with more ease but also cultivate a more meaningful life, full of purpose and connected to our true path. Throughout the spiritual journey, as we incorporate practices such as meditation, gratitude, and faith, we begin to experience a transformation not only in our mental health but also in our ability to face life's adversities. This is the power of spirituality. It not only helps us alleviate stress and anxiety but also develop emotional resilience, the ability to deal with life's challenges in a balanced way, without losing inner peace. Emotional resilience is the foundation of a healthy and balanced life, and it is spirituality that provides us with the necessary tools to cultivate it deeply and durably. Emotional resilience is the ability to recover from adversity, adapt to stress, and maintain a positive attitude in the face of challenges. However, this process does not happen overnight. Building emotional resilience is a gradual process that requires patience, self-awareness, and constant practice. And this is where spirituality comes in, offering not only support in times of crisis, but also the foundations for a more balanced and harmonious life, where we are able to face difficulties with a serene attitude. When we go through stressful situations, trauma, or loss, our first reaction is often resistance. Fear, insecurity, and doubt arise as barriers that prevent us from moving forward. Spirituality teaches us to embrace these difficulties not as insurmountable obstacles, but as opportunities for growth. Through spiritual practice, we can learn to observe our feelings without identifying with them. Instead of being dominated by anger, fear, or sadness, we can learn to emotionally distance ourselves from these states, recognizing them but not allowing them to control us. For example, imagine you are going through a period of great stress at work. The demands seem too much, and you begin to feel exhausted and overwhelmed. At this moment, the emotional resilience you have cultivated through spiritual practices can help you deal with the situation in a more balanced way. Instead of succumbing to anxiety or despair, you can step back and allow yourself a break. Meditation or prayer can be powerful tools in this moment, allowing you to connect with your inner peace and regain emotional control. The constant practice of spirituality prepares us to deal with these situations more calmly and rationally. One of the keys to developing emotional resilience is self-awareness. By dedicating ourselves to our own spiritual growth process, we begin to discover more about who we are, our beliefs, our values, and the emotions we carry. Self-awareness allows us not only to understand our emotional reactions, but also to transform negative patterns that may harm us. When we are aware of our emotions and limitations, we have the power to make more conscious and balanced decisions. Self-awareness also teaches us to be more compassionate with ourselves, understanding that we are human beings subject to flaws, but we also have the capacity to learn, grow, and evolve. This process of self-exploration can be intensified by practices such as spiritual journaling, a form of reflective writing that helps us organize our thoughts, express our emotions, and connect with what really matters. By writing about our experiences and feelings, we can find clarity and insight that helps us deal better with life's adversities. Journaling not only provides an emotional outlet, but also offers us a way to visualize our evolution over time. In addition to self-awareness, spirituality also teaches us to cultivate resilience through acceptance. Accepting life as it is, with all its imperfections, is one of the greatest challenges we face. We are often taught to fight against difficulties, to want to change what we cannot control. However, spirituality invites us to take a different approach: acceptance. This does not mean resignation, but rather the ability to recognize that, in many situations, what is beyond our control does not need to be a source of suffering. By accepting reality as it is, we can find a sense of peace even in times of difficulty. The practice of mindfulness is one of the most effective tools for cultivating acceptance. Mindfulness teaches us to be present in the moment, without judgment. When we practice mindfulness, we learn to observe our thoughts and emotions without trying to change or push them away. This allows us to accept what is happening in our lives with more serenity, without resistance. Instead of being stuck in the past or anxious about the future, we can learn to live in the present, accepting situations as they are. Spirituality also helps us realize that, behind life's difficulties, there is always an opportunity for learning. Instead of seeing suffering as something negative or as a punishment, we can learn to view it as a chance for personal growth. This type of transformative mindset allows us to deal with obstacles in a healthier and more positive way. Spirituality teaches us that everything, even difficult moments, has a purpose. This can be a powerful concept when we are facing emotional crises or extreme stress situations. Knowing that there is something greater behind every experience helps us see the deeper meaning of life. Another benefit of spirituality in strengthening emotional resilience is the sense of belonging. The feeling that we are part of something greater than ourselves can offer immense emotional comfort. Spirituality reminds us that we are connected to each other and to the universe, giving us a sense of unconditional support. This sense of belonging strengthens us in times of adversity because it assures us that we are not alone. For many people, spiritual practice in community, whether in a church, meditation groups, or any other form of connection, can be an immense source of emotional strength. As we advance in spiritual practice and self-awareness development, we begin to realize that spirituality is not just a remedy for difficult moments, but a way to live life with more clarity, purpose, and balance. It helps us see life from a broader perspective, recognizing that, despite challenges, there is always a greater force guiding us. Emotional resilience, then, is not just about enduring what life presents to us, but about learning to grow with adversity. With spirituality as a guide, we can cultivate a strong and balanced mind, capable of recovering from difficulties, learning from them, and moving forward with a positive attitude. Ultimately, spirituality is a path that leads us to a more balanced, more conscious, and more resilient life. As we progress on our spiritual journey, we realize that spirituality is not just an isolated practice, but a way of life that impacts every aspect of our existence. Throughout the previous sections, we discussed how it provides us with tools to deal with stress, anxiety, and depression, as well as to cultivate emotional resilience. Now we come to the fundamental part of this journey: emotional healing and lasting peace. Mental health is a direct reflection of our ability to balance emotions, manage life's challenges, and deal with internal conflicts in a healthy way.
We all face moments of pain, sadness, anger, and frustration.
These feelings are natural, but when we don't know how to handle them, they can become toxic and harm our well-being. Spirituality, however, offers a path to healing for these emotions, allowing us to transform them into opportunities for growth. One of the greatest promises of spirituality is emotional healing. This happens when we are able to recognize the wounds we carry within us, whether from the past or the present, and by doing so, we allow the light of our spirituality to penetrate these dark areas of our psyche. When we talk about emotional healing, we are not referring to a magical or instant solution, but to a profound and transformative process that involves forgiveness, acceptance, and reconciliation with our own experiences and feelings. It is important to understand that emotional healing does not mean ignoring or suppressing our negative emotions. On the contrary, it means being able to recognize these emotions without identifying with them. By becoming aware of our feelings, we can begin to release them, to move through them, and to free ourselves from the power they have over our lives. Spirituality helps us create the necessary space for this liberation, offering us practices and teachings that allow us to look inward with compassion and patience, without judgment. Meditation, prayer, and even the practice of mindfulness are paths that lead us to this emotional healing.
When we meditate, we give ourselves a pause to observe our emotions without getting lost in them.
During this time of introspection, we can notice how emotions manifest in our body and mind. This process of observing without attachment helps us release what we no longer need to carry, such as fear, anger, or guilt. At the same time, it connects us with a sense of inner peace that allows us to see life in a clearer and more peaceful way. Furthermore, the act of forgiving, both ourselves and others, is a key part of the emotional healing process. Forgiveness is not something we do just for other people, it is something we do for ourselves. When we hold on to resentment or hurt, we are trapping ourselves in a cycle of suffering and pain. Forgiveness, however, is liberating. It allows us to release the emotional weight we carry, making way for inner peace and emotional well-being. By practicing forgiveness, spirituality teaches us to release the chains that bind us to the past and to live in a lighter and fuller way. In moments of anxiety or depression, spirituality also offers a sustaining strength. Anxiety often arises from fear of the future, of what is yet to come, while depression can be a reflection of a deep disconnection from our life purpose and essence. Spirituality teaches us to live in the present moment, to trust our path, and to believe that, even in the most difficult situations, there is a light guiding us. Spiritual practices, such as prayer or meditation, can be effective in helping to reduce anxiety, as they connect us with the present and take us out of the spiral of negative thoughts. They offer us a space to breathe, to calm down, and to remember that, despite the difficulties, we are safe and supported. Faith, in any form it manifests, gives us the confidence that, in the end, everything will fall into place, even when we don't fully understand the challenges we face. Spirituality also plays a vital role in the treatment of depression. Often, depression is fueled by the sense of lack of purpose or the belief that there is no meaning in life's difficulties. Spirituality helps us find that purpose, to connect with something greater than ourselves, whether it's God, the universe, or our own essence. When we find that purpose, life gains a new meaning, and the difficulties that once seemed insurmountable become opportunities to learn and grow. It is in this context that faith becomes a powerful ally in emotional healing. Faith does not mean believing that everything will be easy, but rather trusting that, regardless of the circumstances, there is a greater force guiding us. This trust gives us the courage to face life with more serenity and hope, even when the clouds seem dark. Faith teaches us to persevere, to believe that we are on the right path, even when the answers are not immediate. Inner peace, one of the greatest goals of spirituality, is not a momentary achievement but a constant state of being. When we cultivate spirituality in our lives, we begin to realize that peace does not come from the outside, but from within us. No matter what happens around us, true peace resides in our connection with our inner self and with what is greater than us. Inner peace is the foundation of solid mental health, as it allows us to deal with life's challenges in a more peaceful and balanced way. Spirituality teaches us that we are complete and whole beings, with all the tools necessary to deal with life in a healthy way. It offers us the support needed to deal with stress, anxiety, depression, and all the other emotions that arise along the journey. By practicing spirituality, whether through meditation, prayer, or mindfulness, we are strengthening our ability to face life's challenges with balance and resilience. Finally, the spiritual journey is not a temporary solution to our problems, but a continuous path of self-discovery, healing, and lasting peace. By connecting with our essence and with what is greater than ourselves, we experience a profound transformation that impacts all areas of our lives. Spirituality helps us find emotional balance, heal emotional wounds, and the inner peace we all seek. And by making this journey a daily practice, we can live a fuller life, with more purpose, and with truly balanced mental health. If you enjoyed this video and believe that spirituality can bring more balance and peace to your life, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell so you won't miss any new content. I also want to know what you think about this topic. Leave your comment below and share with us how spirituality has made a difference in your journey.
Let's keep this conversation going and grow together.
See you in the next video.